Hi, I'm Peter Bois.
I'm Gus Davis.
And welcome to Monday Club.
It's a super club. You're a super fan. Let's make a super Monday Club.
Welcome to Monday Club! What is up, all you Monday maniacs out there? Thank you for joining us on episode 47 of Monday Club. I'm Peter Bois. I'm here with my sultry voice mate, Gus Davis. Welcome to Monday Club. This is Super Monday, day after Super Bowl, although you're listening to this a week later. Today, we cheers to changing your mind. Solo trailer drops. What are we reading? We talk Super Bowl. We talk Gus has to pay up on our bet. And Gus pays $700 a night for a day's in. We got to talk about that. Welcome to Monday Club. Welcome to Monday!
Cheers!
Cheers!
Super cheers!
Super cheers. I totally made that a very long intro. I'm so excited.
It's a good day. Hey, let's start off this way, my friend. It is the day after. We're recording this the day after the Super Bowl, in which the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the New England Patriots.
Boo.
And I gotta say, man, you're actually looking pretty healthy for the day after that loss. You doing okay?
I may be looking all sunshine and flowers on the outside, but inside I am depressed and crumbling under depression.
I'm sorry, man. I am. Well, look. The good news for, I think, most of America is that at least it was a good game. It was a really, really entertaining game.
Yeah, I had a decision in the third quarter. I was like, either I continue on with my fourth beer and then continue on with liquor after that until the wheels come off, or I just quietly start putting water into my cup last night. And I went with the latter. So I bailed out of the drinking, because if I kept drinking, I wouldn't have woken up today.
Yeah. I love that moment. That's you so perfectly described that moment, because there's always a moment when you're out drinking with your friends, or you're sitting around and you're having drinks, and you've had enough that you are on a nice, even drunk level. And then you're watching the big game, and it's only the third quarter, and you're like, well, I mean, I can open up a new case, but if I open up a new case, I'm going to drink it. And that's probably not going to be smart.
I started thinking about what I had to do today, which was Monday Club, and I was like, I guess I could do that hungover. But I went with water.
Oh man! Well, let's do it. Let's do a preliminary cheers before we get to our cheers of the week. Here's to you, New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles, for putting on one hell of a Super Bowl. That was a great game.
Yeah, they were fantastic, both teams.
And look, your boy Tom Brady did such a great job of proving that he was the best quarterback in that game, and probably of all time. Like, with one exception, and you know what that exception is, he just marched him down the field and scored at will.
Yeah, and
the
that
second half,
exception was that he forgot to catch the ball when they threw it to him. Did you see that play? We got to talk about it in a little bit.
He's a receiver. All right.
Well, let's not get too free. Okay, today we are cheersing to changing your mind. You sent this to me, and it kind of goes hand in hand with changing my mind in the third quarter for some water. But this woman is about to jump off this pier on the water, right? There's this big pier on the water, and it's about what? It's got to be 50 feet in the air, right?
Yeah, it looks like it's at least three, maybe 4 or 5 stories off of the water. I mean, it's very tall.
It's ridiculously tall. And she's about to run and jump into the water off of this humongous pier, and she changes her mind at the last second, and she tries to grab onto the railing, and she flails off the side, dangling for like a half second, and then she can't hold her weight, so she falls into the water anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So not only does she change her mind, but you can see she like gets herself ready. She runs off the pier. She is about to jump, and every instinct in her body says, "Oh, hails to the no!" And so she like puts on the brakes, but she's already she's past the point of no return. So she turns around, she grabs onto the railing, and look, life is not like superhero movies or video games. When you go at full momentum, it's not like you can just like Mission Impossible, just reach over with one arm and stop yourself from falling. That's not how that works in real life. So she grabs with one arm, and then that totally throws off her center of gravity, and so she just tumbles like a rag doll through the air and just smashes down into the water. There's so much that's funny about this. It's not just funny that she changes her mind at the last second, because
I think you described it perfectly. I don't think she changed her mind. I think it was her animal instincts telling her, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop this."
Let me also say this, that I've been cliff diving and rock diving and stuff like that before, and it's funny how when you look from the bottom up to where you're going to jump, you say to yourself, that doesn't look like it's that tall.
Yeah.
It's only like 20, 30 feet. That's not that bad. And I'm jumping into water. It's not that bad. I'm going to say that she is definitely past my it's not that bad if you were looking up at this pier. I mean, she's 40 or 50 feet up in the air. So, yeah, it is that bad. But you're jumping into water. You think, oh, it's going to be fine. But looking down from that. That is a long fall.
And she screwed herself, too, because she could have done a pencil dive and, been fine.
Right.
Nope, no issues, but she was tumbling through the air and splat into the water. Here's an early teachable moment for everybody. Everybody on Earth should be able to do at least one pull-up, because if she could have actually done one pull-up, she could have saved her life. Oh, she didn't die. She's fine.
No, I mean, we don't actually know that for a fact.
We're assuming she's fine.
We're totally assuming.
If it made it on the internet, she's fine, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. I wouldn't want to smack my face on the water after a 50-foot fall.
No.
That is... That's how you get the nickname Pancake Face for the rest of your life.
A show title.
Pancake Face.
I love pancakes.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Anyway, I gotta tell you this story about changing your mind. Okay, and CJ, I'm gonna put you on blast here, and I'm sorry. I hope this doesn't offend you, but I always thought it was really, really funny. So. Here's the way this worked. 10 years ago, CJ was talking to me about an idea that he had for a lecture talk. And I'm going to put it out there that he never did it this way. And so, this is just an idea, and I'm glad he changed his mind. But the talk was still relevant, and so I thought I'd share it with you. So here's the way this went down. The idea was he was with his kids. He was driving in his car. They live out in the country. And with his kids in the car, he was taking a corner, and a squirrel started running across the street. The squirrel stopped in the middle of the street when it saw the car coming, tried to run backwards, changed its mind, and then tried to run forwards again to cross the street. And in that time, CJ just kept going and ran over the squirrel. Now, I don't know if this is a true story. I'm assuming it's not a true story, but follow me along. So the kids were sad that a squirrel got run over, and he was like, look, in this situation, as a responsible driver, the responsible thing to do is continue to go. I can't put human lives at risk for a squirrel that can't make up its mind. In fact, it wasn't me that killed the squirrel. It wasn't the car that killed the squirrel. The squirrel's indecision is what killed the squirrel. Had it decided to just run across the street the first time, it would have been fine. Had it decided to turn around and go back, it would have been fine. But it going back and forth in the middle of the street is that indecision is what ended up killing the squirrel. Which is a good life lesson, and I think could be a good teaching point. Peter probably would have something against it.
There's some knowledge blasting into my brain right now. That's
I know,
so
right?
true.
I mean, I think it's truth, man. It's deep and
Whoa.
it's
That is so true. You just get caught in the middle and run over. You'd be fine on either side of the road. You just got to make a damn decision.
You go either way, man. Just go all the way. And that goes that ties in with this this Cheers of the Week. Had this lady just, if she's going to run and jump off this thing, like you said, she could have just penciled right into the water. She would have been totally fine. Had she decided to not do it, she would have been totally fine. The place where she got in trouble is that as she's jumping, she decides that she's going to go backwards. And now she's screwed for the fall and for the jump. It's like this is a bonus moment.
At least she didn't get run over by CJ. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look, in the event that she did, I would just go ahead and claim that's not his fault. That's her indecision.
Damn straight. Cheers to this woman and her indecision, because it made us laugh really hard.
To Pancake Face.
Pancake Face. I'm doing something I've never done on Monday Club.
Oh, yeah?
I have never drank wine on Monday Club before.
Look at you classy bastard.
I know. Look at this. I figure, I was drinking beer during the Patriots game, so I figured if I drink something different during the next season, they'll win, right? You got to do something different to change the luck. I like the occasional glass of wine. I'm a red wine guy. I love red wine. White wine, But I love big Cabernets, but this is a Chianti. I don't even know what brand it is.
Chianti.
It's like a $8 to $10 bottle at your grocery store, and it's pretty good. Not my favorite, but not my favorite wine. But I do love Chiantis. But this is a pretty good bottle. Not bad.
What's it called?
The brand?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Oh, all right. It's the $8 brand.
Yeah, it's the $8 brand. So it's not bad.
Gotcha.
I wish I could remember. It begins with a G.
Well, what I've learned about wine, I went to Napa and Sonoma to do a wine tasting tour, and one of the things I learned is that there's some really good wines out there that are ridiculously expensive. But dude, there's also some really good wines out there that you can get for $8 to $12 easy. For both red and white wines. So if you're not a wine connoisseur and want to kind of check out some wines, don't be shy. Go to like your local Whole Foods or someplace like that and say, hey, look, I want a good red and a good white. Give me something that's between $8 and $12, and they'll hook you up. So
yeah, I think the sweet spot is between, at least with my experience, is $10 to $15 at the grocery store. If you buy a $15 bottle of wine, it's going to be delicious. And you're not going to be able to really tell the difference between the 15 and the 25, because they sell at restaurants a $15 bottle of wine is like $60 at a restaurant.
Right.
So
that's true.
That's a good, that's a lot of money for 4 drinks.
Well, and you also have to really take into consideration wine. There's so many different types of wines out there that you might try a Chianti or a Cab or anything like that. And the first 2 that you have are awful, and then the next 2 that you have are great. So just invest in some experience and see which ones you like, because it's the grapes can taste completely different depending on where they're from and when they're picked and all that stuff. So yeah, cool. Well, way to switch it up for the Super Monday. For me, I am drinking. Again, a cry for help. I am drinking a whole lot of orange juice with Jack Daniels just poured all up into it. So orange juice and Jack. I think I finished off my bottle of Captain Morgan. So I had a little bit of Captain Morgan in there and started with Captain and ended with Jack in my orange juice. But it's Monday morning. It's a nice healthy pick me up.
That sounds lovely. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to our morning drinking issues on Monday Club. We appreciate you. Make sure you check us out on iTunes. Give us a little rating, a little love up there. Like I say every week, tell your friends about us at Monday Club so we can grow the club. The podcast is available on Spotify if you want to listen to it there. It's on iTunes. We're on YouTube, and I've slacked last couple weeks. I haven't gotten the videos up, but I'm definitely putting this video up because Gus looks very crispy today. He's got some lighting that really shows off that smile, Gus.
I bought new lighting just for Monday Club, so I'm very excited to be sitting in my studio and not just be holding a candle and a matchstick up to my face so that you can see me. So yeah, check it out on YouTube. I really enjoy your YouTube edits.
Thanks. So yeah, that's about it. Or you can also buy us a drink if you have a favorite wine. Send us some money, mondayclubpodcast@gmail.com. You can PayPal us there, or talk to us through there, or through the social media, mondayclubpodcast.com. I want to jump in real quick, check in with you on what you are reading, because I just finished a couple of books, and I want to tell you about them.
Okay. Well, we've started our tour season in full swing, which is great for my reading, because it's usually when we're on tour, especially when we're when I'm in airports, I don't want to hear anything at an airport ever again. I don't want to hear my gate announcement. I don't want to hear the people talk about what boarding group I'm in. I don't want to hear people give me the safety speech on planes. I don't want to talk to my neighbor. I don't want to talk to anybody when I'm at an airport. And so just in the time that I'm sitting at airports or sitting in planes, I've gotten so many audiobooks read. So yeah, let's start it off, man. For me, the most recent series that I've been listening to that I have freaking loved, it's called Interworld, Interworld, World. It's by Neil Gaiman and another writer. They collaborated on it. I'm a huge Neil Gaiman fan. I love his short stories. Even his long stories are really good. And this one's a great sci-fi fantasy book that it's almost... It is almost Harry Potter, but with aliens and time travel and the multiverse and stuff like that. It's really, really good. So
that sounds awesome. I'm taking notes, by the way.
Yeah.
I just wrote
nice.
that down.
Yeah. Interworld, it's great. The readers are really good. And again, if you're a fan of Harry Potter, if you like time travel and multidimensional stuff and meeting yourself and all that kind of stuff, check that one out. It's a really good book.
Nice. Great. That's going to be my next one.
Right.
I just finished Artemis. This is by the guy who wrote The Martian.
Andy Weir.
Yeah, Andy Weir. And I loved The Martian, and so I thought I'd give this a shot. And I liked it. It wasn't as good as The Martian.
No, your reaction is exactly what I thought of Artemis. It was
you read it too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that Artemis was like reading a radio broadcast of a story. Like if someone got on the radio and was like, "Hey, I have a story that I'm going to make up for you right now," and made this story up, I'd be like, "Hey, they did a pretty good job."
Yeah, it seemed very flat, the story. It wasn't like I'd never fully invested. I was always halfway there. The story basically is we've colonized the moon. There's a colony in a bubble on the moon, and it's about this girl, Jazz's. She has less than great morals or something.
Yeah, she's a lovable little scamp.
Yeah. Or, I mean, she was doing some saboteuring and stuff.
But she's a criminal with a good heart.
Yeah.
The audiobook, for those of you who want to follow along with our reading exploits, the audiobook is read by Rosario Dawson, and that did make it slightly better for me because I freaking love Rosario Dawson. And so, hearing Rosario Dawson's voice in my ear as I'm going to sleep did not hurt my feelings.
Yeah, she plays Claire on all the Marvel, Daredevil, and all the Marvel shows on Netflix, if you don't know. Yeah. You know that, right?
No, I haven't been into. I haven't been into that.
She's in Daredevil. She's in Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. She's in all of them. She's like the glue that holds those worlds together in those shows.
Dude, I would love to be an actor and actress that I'm just like, look, I'll give me a paycheck. You want me to be on the cooking channel? I'll do the cooking channel. You want me to be in all of the DC little spin-off things? Hell yeah. I'll be a blind chick on the DC spin-offs. What do I care?
Yeah. All right, so Artemis. Pretty good. Pretty good. I liked it, but not. I finished Mr. Mercedes. That was your pick a couple of months ago, I think, by Stephen King, and I really liked that. I thought that was a fantastic read. And you said before we got on air that it's a trilogy. So now I have two more to read.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So Monday Clubbers out there, if you read Mr. Mercedes and you love it as much as I did. Also, if you're a fan of old school like gumshoe detective novels, this is a great combination of old school gumshoe detective novel and horror story by Stephen King. Anyway, read Mr. Mercedes. It's the Bill Hodges trilogy, Mr. Mercedes, Finders, Keepers, and End of Watch. I don't want to give anything away, but I think that the second one is my absolute favorite one. And it's so good that you listen to half the book and you're like, oh, well, I don't think these are related stories. And then the second half of the book kicks in and you're like, holy bejizzle! Oh, my God! I can't believe he did that! So yeah, it's really, really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, check those out.
Yeah, awesome. And also, I've been buying lots of old Magic books, and
cool.
I've been going on eBay looking for out of print stuff and just putting in bids and buying things at as cheap as I can get them, used old books, and it's been great. Like I bought, just some obscure books that I never knew about until I bought them, and there's some really interesting, cool ideas in there. So I've started taking notes about new material I want to try to create out of these old ideas, and then I'm like filling in the beginner library because have you ever read Amateur Magician's Handbook?
Oh yeah,
that was at every library when we were kids, and so I picked up a used one on eBay for like $5, and it's pretty cool. I'm excited to read through all those old books. It's kind of nostalgic and takes me back to finding books and seeing what treasures lie within the pages of these magic books.
Awesome. That's so fun. I got gifted when I used to help run the magic camp. Part of the deal was we got donations from all these old time magicians, and there was stuff that we couldn't put out for kids, but we didn't want to throw away or put in an auction. And so I ended up, and I totally forgot I had it, but with a huge cardboard box filled with old lecture notes and like these weird, like beginning small pamphlet magic books like you can hypnotize anyone or learn the 3-shell game or stuff like that. Anyway, I have literally a bookshelf of all of these lecture notes and pamphlets that I've never even opened before, and every once in a while I get that wild hair to go through them and just be like, there in all of this there's something that's just going to blow my mind, and I'm really excited to try it out.
You know what my favorite part of old magic books is their brevity. They're basically if they had the best trick ever to describe, they would use the least amount of words and just say it. It seems like everything, if you listen to a magic video or watch a magic video or read a magic book now, it has such minute detail, which I guess is good, but at the same time, I love these really just rough ideas that get my juices flowing. So I just love that they're like, hey, make a coin disappear. You do this, this, and this, and this, and this. Good luck.
I love their brevity. I also love that they're usually illustrated by hand, and that they have like 1 or 2 pictures to describe an entire 30-minute effect.
Yeah.
And it's great because you'll be like, all right, so start by holding it like this, and you'll just see a cartoon hand holding something in a weird way, and then it should look like this when you're done, and you'll see the same hand, but it's empty, and it's like, good luck, bitches. The other thing I love about really old magic material, which feeds into my next book, so nice segue, is that a lot of them are so freaking sexist that it is written.
Racist.
It is like they're sexist and racist, and it's like in such a weird, lovable. Don't we all agree that this is how the world works kind of way? So, like, as an example, I remember I was reading a mind-reading book, and there was a section in there where they were like, well, you're going to want to get a female from the audience, probably one wearing a dress, and then because she's a female and she's wearing a dress, she's going to say something like puppies or kittens as her animal of choice. So just put her on the stage, and you've already got a given right there. And it's like, Jesus Christ, crotchety ass old magician guy.
You know what though? Like, he was probably right in his time.
In his time, he probably was.
Oh man, that's great.
So swinging it back around to books that I've either listened to or read recently. I am reading the Alice in Wonderland series because I've never read those books. And I'm also just finished a book called Ringworld, which I also recently learned is part of it's like a series. It's like 6 books. And Ringworld is on one of those, like, when you look up top 50 sci-fi novels of all time, Ringworld comes up, and I'm going to save you all the trouble. Do not read this book. It was awful. It was truly freaking terrible.
Really?
The writing was bad. The premises was bad. The characters were terrible, and it was ridiculously sexist. It was like there's this 200-year-old guy who doesn't look like he's 200 years old, and he gets to fuck any chick that he wants to, basically, in this book, right? Like, it's like you'll have a whole group of female scientists from another planet, and of course he sleeps with the leader of them, and then you'll have this chick that's a member of their team, and he basically scolds her like a little girl, and then also sleeps with her because that's basically her only job on the starship, is to keep him happy. And then when he's done with her, he's like, hey, I'm going to leave you on the planet. Is that cool? And she's like, yeah.
When was this book written?
I don't know, man, but it save you all the trouble. It gets the big oh hells no from me, and I read the synopsis of the other books that followed it, and it looks like it just gets worse and worse. So, Ringworld, don't do it.
Done. Hey, speaking of sci-fi, during the Super Bowl last night, the trailer for the new Star Wars story dropped. The Han Solo story. Did you see it yet?
I didn't. I haven't seen it yet. How excited are you, though?
What's that?
How excited are you, though?
I'm pretty excited. There's been a lot of talk about how bad this movie's going to be in rumors and media and because there's been some rewrites and reshoots and a lot of crap going on. It sounds like a Justice League piece of turd going to happen, but they made a pretty damn good trailer.
Look, the beauty of Disney and Marvel and all of the Disney as a whole right now, the beauty of it is that they can release a turd and they'll still get $500 million easy off of this.
You know what though? I'm holding my breath. I am holding my breath because I have no expectations. I'm thinking it could be a turd. It could be amazing because they did do some reshoots and whatever on Rogue One. So, and that came out really damn good. So
yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be better than Justice League no matter what. I know that for a fact.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So I mean, it's going to be good, and yeah, I think that. Star Wars has hit that sweet spot, and with the new direction that they're going, where basically Disney's like, hey, do you like the Star Wars universe? We do too. In fact, we have a whole theme park that's dedicated to Star Wars. You can come and visit it when it opens. Would you like to see more? I know you would. Give us cash.
I love that they made a theme park for Star Wars, for one, because I want to go to it, and two,
right?
They're going to be making Star Wars movies for the next 50 years because they have a fucking theme park.
They own a theme park to it. They got to keep it relevant. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah, so I'm totally good with that.
Yeah, this is a little bit of foreshadowing for something we're going to talk about later, but I didn't get to watch the Super Bowl until the second half. Of the Super Bowl. I didn't make it till the second half, so I missed all the commercials that led up to that, and I missed the halftime show. Which I love the halftime shows of Super Bowls because that is like the tech work and the communication and the practice that goes into setting up a stage with lighting and sound and drapery and all of the production value that goes into it. They have 12 minutes to set an entire stage.
It's ridiculous.
That's insane that they can do all that and still knock it out of the park. Yeah. So, cheers to you people who set up and run the Super Bowl halftime show. You guys are freaking amazing.
I have to say, my favorite ad of the whole night was the series of ads by Tide. They had Hooper, the guy who played the sheriff on Stranger Things, the guy who did the picture with the high school girl with the trombone, and he was in all the Tide ads, and they were hilarious, and I think they were trying to get over the whole Tide Pod challenge thing.
Right,
So they're like, let's spend a shit ton of money to make us look funny and cool and not eating
Hey,
Tide
guys!
Pods. Yeah. So I think those are my favorite ads, and I know you didn't see all of it. So, but the halftime show, you know what? I don't really care about the halftime show personally, but everyone says it's the worst halftime show every year. I mean, what do you want? They're freaking. There's lights. There's dancers.
Right.
There's somebody lip syncing and dancing. And what do you want? Justin Timberlake? He did a fine job. Okay, it's a concert.
Yeah,
it's a 10-minute concert. It's
a 10-minute concert for you to promote your new album that's dropping that year. I mean, that's really all it is. It in and of itself is a commercial, right?
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake's new album was dropping that year. Before that, it was what's her name?
Gaga.
Beyonce.
Oh, Beyonce.
Her album was dropping that year. Yeah, Lady Gaga. Her album was dropping that year. It's like that's all it is. It's all money. It's all just a big shit show to try to sell your products, and that's great if that's what you want to do. But yeah, all of those artists are. It's like if you told me right now that, hey, look, you're gonna try to entertain 64 million fans on stage. You have 10 minutes to do it. Give us the best you got. I'd give you the best I had, and I'd be proud of it. But half the people would be like, hey, he did it. And the other half would be like, wow, that sucked. It's like, yeah, you're both right.
I don't know what you expect out of it, right?
Right.
So, yeah, it was fine. But whatever.
Yeah, right. All right, man. Let's just go ahead and talk about the Super Bowl real quick, okay?
I was hoping you'd miss
guys,
that
I know that
point.
if you're listening right now, it's probably at least a week after the Super Bowl 52 has happened. If you've been listening to the show at all, you know that Pete is a huge New England Patriots fan. And the Patriots lost in the Super Bowl in a heartbreaking loss. I mean, for me personally, it was a great game. There was great sportsmanship that I saw. There was some amazing plays. There was some intrigue with, did the refs make the right call on this situation or that situation? But the biggest thing for me is that for a Super Bowl, usually Super Bowls are terrible. They're usually one-sided or just boring or whatever. For me, up until the last whistle blew, the game was entertaining.
Oh, yeah, till the last pass. It came down to the last play of the game. And
it did, and I'll tell you, Gronkowski touched the football. I mean, in the end zone, in a Hail Mary pass, it touched his hands with 13 guys around him trying to, keep it out. I mean, he wasn't going to catch it, but that pass was a perfect pass.
Yeah.
It could have gone that way.
Yeah, it was. I agree on all your points. It was a really good game. Philly played really amazing. Patriots defense kind of sucked it up a little bit. They didn't, but, I mean, Philly gave them a run for their money. Obviously, they beat them. But the Patriots defense was on the ropes the entire time. I don't know. There's this big controversy. Malcolm Butler, their star defensive player on the Patriots, he wasn't played at all. I don't know why he wasn't played. He must have pissed off Bill Belichick in practice? I don't know. And so I still don't know what's going on with that. You probably already know it's a week later. And then those questionable calls. Okay, before I discuss this for a second, the Philly won fair and square. But those questionable calls, if they were during the regular season, they would have not been the same result because they were making calls that went the opposite way from what they called during the Super Bowl. Those catches that touchdown would not have been a touchdown, and that's just the way it was during the.
I think both touchdowns.
Yeah,
in the second half, both touchdowns that the Eagles did would not have been called touchdowns in regular season.
Yep,
And I think it was good that they used that as a platform to make the case to change the rules back to what a touchdown is, because by looking at both of those touchdowns, me as someone who's watched football since I was little, those were definitely catches, those are definitely touchdowns. Me as looking at it as somebody who knows the rules and how they've changed was like, I can see why they're questionable. But Look, man, if you're playing out in the street and someone throws you something and you catch it and you hang on to it and you fall down and you held on to it, hey, you caught it. Good job.
Yeah.
But that's not the case in football anymore with the current rules, and I guarantee you they're going to change those rules.
Yeah, I agree. But it just sucks that they decided not to call them that way. For this year, the correct way would have not been those touchdowns would not have happened if they were
and I agree with
following
you.
the rule
with you. But I also think that in the spirit of the Super Bowl and also with what I guarantee you will happen in the rule changes, those were definitely catches and those are definitely touchdowns. Also, to be fair, calls have gone either way for the Patriots as well throughout the season. So, I mean, it sort of did kind of bounce karmically the world, I think.
Yeah, I disagree. I'm not begrudging the calls. I just, it is what it is. I thought they were touchdowns personally, but if you had to follow the rules, you can't really call those touchdowns because you haven't been calling them touchdowns all season. So that's
and I concede that point. I also want to say kudos to my co-host here, Mr. Peter Bois, that as soon as the game was over, he said it all season that if you want to have the Patriots fans shut up, even if they love them as much as Pete does, just beat them on the field. And when the game was over, I saw that you tweeted out, "Hey Eagles, congratulations! That was one hell of a game." And I thought that was very big of you, sir.
Well, thank you. I like to be a sportsman. It is a game. It's not like world hunger we're fighting for here, but
right.
So it was a really good game. Congrats, Philly! You beat us. You beat the big boys. But guess what? Tom Brady's got 5 more years left in him? He can play till he's 45, so...
Yeah, I'm sure he can. So I got to tell you, real quick, man, I got to tell you my experience for the Super Bowl, and it's kind of a two-parter, so I'll try to do this succinctly. So, first of all, I actually... let's start about a week and a half ago. I realized that I was flying in to do a show on Saturday, and I was flying into Minnesota to do a show in St. Paul, Minnesota. And it's to me it's a normal show. It's a weekend show. I already booked my flight. Flights were really pretty expensive this round, and I wasn't exactly sure why, but whatever. It's a show, which means I hadn't booked a rental car or a hotel yet. And I get to the office and we're discussing our week's plans, and they're like, "Well, CJ and James and all the rest were like, hey, so do you have travel all booked for your show in Minnesota?" It's like, nah, I think when I land, I'll do my normal thing and go find a cheap rental car and book there's a hotel that we like to stay at that's by the airport. I'll just go and stay there. And it dawns on us that holy crap, the Super Bowl's being played in Minnesota this year. Mm-hmm. Now, there's no way I could have known that without watching SportsCenter all the time, or because I was like, it's New England or Philly, like it's going to be in one of those places. That has nothing to do with Minnesota, but nope, that's where the Super Bowl was being played, was Minnesota. So we get on Orbitz real quick, and we're like, well, shit, let's book a room for you real quick. So we get on Orbitz, and Orbitz comes up, and dude, I'm not kidding you, the first 3 things that come up on Orbitz are Days Inn, $700, La Quinta, $650, Motel 6, $380 for per night.
Holy
for
shit.
Staying there. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I done messed up. I messed up real bad. And so we expand the search to get further and farther away from the airport, and it turns out I found it was a Motel 6 that was $175 a night that was 30 minutes away from the airport, and that was the best deal I could possibly get.
Did you take
for that
it?
weekend? Yeah,
wow,
I took it.
That's one expensive Motel 6.
It gets worse. So then we got on for looking for rental cars, and everybody, of course, is flying into Minnesota and have to rent rental cars to get wherever they're going. So luckily, we found a rental car place that had one car for $135, and it was supposed to be like a big car because it's 6 degrees in Minnesota right now. It was truly awful. But instead, when I landed on the plane, I got there, and they only had one car available, and it wasn't the car I had originally rented, but the car they had available was an Impala, which, if you're driving on snow and ice, an Impala is not the best car to be driving on all these things. But it was my one and only ticket.
Was it a stick shift?
So I got. It was not a stick shift, which
you got off easy.
I did. Anyway, I heard later that from some people on my flight back from Minnesota that were talking to me, and they're like, "Yeah, man, parking downtown right now is $240 to park on Super Bowl weekend."
What?
Right?
For the night?
No. To park to go to the game.
Oh,
$240 to park.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Like,
we looked up tickets. The average median ticket price for going to the game, I think, was like $5,500.
Good God.
Yeah, for one ticket.
Oh my God. Yeah. So let's add this up, shall we? Let's say that you just said, "Hey, screw it. Let's go to the Super Bowl." You're looking at, for two people to go, easy $12,000. Easy to go to get into the stadium, to buy one hot dog, maybe a beer, and to park.
Yeah.
$12,000 easy. Then you're talking probably $1,500 for your hotel, plus another $200 for your rental car, and maybe up to $270 to park. I mean,
what are you talking?
That's a
like
huge
15,
chunk of change.
$15,000 to go to the Super Bowl?
Easy.
Oh my God.
For two people to go to the Super Bowl. And that's the median.
Just paid that for a new kitchen. It's going to last me 20 years.
Right? Right? Anyway, so anybody in Minnesota, plus it was sleeting and snowing, and it was just terrible, nasty cold out there the whole time. Anyway, I just had to get all of that off my chest. It was awful being up there, and certainly awful to learn that I screwed up that bad by not booking my travel ahead of time for my hotel and my rental car.
Yeah. Well, check where the next Super Bowl is for next year. Make sure that doesn't happen.
Oh, I will. That's not going to happen to me again.
So, Gus, it is officially the end of the football season, and my team went farther than your 5 teams combined. So that means you lose our bet we made at the beginning of the season, where I got to pick one team, and you got to pick 5 teams, and we bet who would go farther. And while the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl, they still beat out each and every one of your teams you picked.
Well, and they made it to the Super Bowl. I tried to look for all of the loopholes. I went back and re-listened to what our initial bet was, and there's just no loophole that I can get out of this one on. So, Pete, God, congratulations to you and your amazing team, the New England Patriots. I can't say how embarrassed I am of all of the football players that even deigned to step on the field and stand in their way. We opened it up. The original bet, I don't know if you remember, but the original bet was that whoever lost this, we would let our fans of Monday Club decide what my punishment was.
Your consequence.
And so I've collected a few of these over the last couple of weeks, and I'll read these to you, okay?
All right, so do I get to pick out of these of what the official consequence you have to do?
Yeah, I picked my top 3. Anybody who sent something in and there was nudity in it, or me doing something like we got a couple that were like, "Hey, you got to do the yoga stretching on an airplane." I was like, "Nope." So those got eliminated. But here's my top 3 that got sent in. All right. It says her name is Sharon J. I'm assuming that's a lady. Sharon J. Sent in this one. Gus has to drink Zima on the next Monday Club.
For anyone else, that would be a penalty, but Gus, I think you would like that.
I probably would like Zima. I mean,
actually, it tastes like Sprite. I had one.
Does it?
Yeah.
when you were in high school?
I wasn't allowed to. Yeah.
Anyway, so Sharon, thanks for sending that one in. Having to drink Zima. The second one that I chose out of was Gus has to wear a Patriots jersey or shirt on the next Monday Club and put that on YouTube. So Mike, thanks for that one. And What was the last one? Oh, Gus has to be the subject of the dirty little football quiz on the next Monday Club. That's from Aaron W. So those are your choices, man. You get to choose my fate.
Great suggestions, guys. So Zima, I think you would like it. Subject of dirty little football quiz, not strong enough for me. I'm going with Patriots. Now, jerseys are really expensive. I mean, you pay $120 for a Brady jersey. So I'm going to alter it. Any Patriots shirt, so any Patriots shirt you can find, T-shirt, whatever, right, as long as it has a Patriots logo, new or old, on it, you have to wear it and post a picture on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere, and wear it for a Monday Club.
All right, done. All right, well, I shake your hand, sir. I congratulate you on your win, and well done. And Monday Clubbers, thanks for joining in the fun. We appreciate you.
This week in the news. That was yeah.
That was pretty good. Right? Yeah. This week in the news.
I need to take that out and put it to some dun 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 music. So I learned during the Super Bowl that the Olympics are starting soon. I didn't know that. I saw a commercial.
You along with 70 million other Americans learned that the Olympics are happening on ABC in the next week.
So that's pretty exciting. Winter Olympics. They're in South Korea. Is that correct?
I don't know where they are. That's how out of the loop I am. But I'll tell you what, I love the Olympics. Every year I love watching, or every time they're on, I love watching the Summer and Winter Olympics. I get into all of those obscure sports that no one really knows how they work, and I enjoy being one of those people who watches people ski or jump or do like those giant downhill ski jumps and stuff like that, and like makes all those comments. It's like, well, I don't know. It looks like their knees came apart a little tiny bit. I would deduct stuff from that where, I couldn't go straight down the jump, much less do anything in the air without absolutely breaking every bone in my body. So yeah, man, I'm super stoked for the Olympics to be happening.
Yeah, Pyeongchang, am I saying that right? That's in South Korea. Is anyone concerned that there's North Korea directly above South Korea?
So, do you know that North Korea and South Korea are doing their delegates together for this Olympics?
No way, really?
Yeah,
what?
yeah. They have reached across the aisle and shaken hands and said, "Hey, for the Olympics, we're calling a truce, and let's have our two teams be represented in the Olympics together."
Wow.
So yeah, it's like a big deal.
That is pretty amazing. So
yeah,
wow. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and
good on you, North Korea and South Korea.
Yeah, right. Things I never thought I'd hear you say.
Yeah. So wait, is this like the enemy of my enemy is my
it's my friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's that or if it's the first like olive branch to try to make tensions less or what. But yeah, I'll tell you what. The world needs us not to launch nukes at each other. So yeah, good on you guys for trying to work it out and work together. If it takes the Olympics or the spirit of unity to make that happen, then I'm all for it.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite Winter Olympic sport has to be skiing, downhill skiing. For some reason, I get mesmerized by them just shooting down the hill at like 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, man. In Winter Olympics, it's the skiing, and in Summer Olympics, it's the diving. It's like those are things I would never watch on my own, but when they're in the Olympics, I'm with you, dude. I'm mesmerized by those. I could watch those for hours on end.
Yeah. I hate figure skating. I used to like watching it in high school, but I hate it. I don't know why. Yep. I think it's annoying. Any figure skating, really annoying.
Yep, I don't really understand ice dancing and figure skating either. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. All right.
Though I'm really excited that what is it? Snowboarding is now a Winter Olympic sport, and so they do all like the X Games stuff at the Olympics now, and those guys get medals and stuff. So it's really fun seeing all the athletes that are doing the whatever that is, the decathlon or biathletes or whatever they're doing, cross-country skiing, like all these bobsledding, all of these teams that work for years on end to be a perfectly oiled machine, and then all the stoners that come to the Olympics and are like getting selfies with everyone and doing their moves and all of their ollies and tricks and whatnots.
Do you think any of the snowboarders will pass the drug tests?
I bet that they have already gone through rigorous training right now, where it's like, listen, drink this combination herbal and green tea extract smoothie every day for the next 3 days, and then go and good luck.
That's great. Robin Williams had a hilarious joke in one of his specials where he's like, I can't believe they think weed is a performance-enhancing drug. There's no way it enhances your performance unless you put a giant Hershey bar at the end of the run. Woo!
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah, if those guys can do those amazing stunts and acrobatics on downhill slopes while they're baked, it's like, you're just showing off now.
That's what could you do when you're not baked? That
right? Imagine if you tried.
Yeah. Oh man. So bringing it back to football one last time. This is sad. This is the last time I get to hear this.
Yeah, let's do it.
Prepare yourself for the dirty little football quiz.
All right, guys. So, even though this episode we've talked a lot about football since the big Super Bowl game just finished for us while we're recording, we know that a lot of you don't come here for sports ball, and if this segment has gotten annoying for you, don't worry. There's no more football. We'll talk about the erotic fiction and Winter Olympics next time. It'll be great. But we do want to support Pete and his undying love of the New England Patriots, who came so close to winning the big dance this year. So we realize that a lot of the same words that are used in football are the same terminology that is used in erotic fiction. I'm going to read three erotic fiction quotes for Pete. His job is to identify the football term used in the quote, to define that football term, and then to replace the football term with the word in the erotic sentence. If you can do that 2 out of 3 times, I'm going to buy one of you lovely people in Monday Club Land a free drink from us here. So, Pete, you ready to play?
I am ready to go.
All right, man. Well, then here we go. Here is your first erotic sentence. Good luck.
All right.
I'm not some trophy wife for you to parade around in front of your clients and then be left lonely in this giant house.
Trophy.
Trophy is correct.
Woo!
Good job. Define it.
Trophy is the prize you get for winning.
Sure, as it pertains to the Super Bowl.
Lombardi Trophy.
The Lombardi Trophy is correct. So here's what we were going for. I'll give you a ding for that. Good job.
Ding me.
So here's what we're going for. The Vince Lombardi Trophy is the trophy that the team that wins the Super Bowl receives. It's named after famed head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Vince Lombardi, who led the Packers to win the first 2 Super Bowls. So congrats, man. Can you use it in the sentence?
I am not some trophy named after Vince Lombardi for you to parade around in front of your clients and then be left lonely in this giant house.
Well done, man. Well done. There you go. All right, 1 down, 2 more to go. Here you go. Here is your second erotic fiction quote.
Can you post that?
Here's your second.
Can you post it in the notes? I can't see it.
Here's your second erotic fiction quote. I'm not some trophy wife for you to parade around in front of your clients and then be left lonely in this giant house.
Parade.
Parade is correct.
Well done, sir.
Can you define it?
You got me. Parade is where the after you win the Super Bowl, you have a parade, and everybody.
That's correct.
Yeah. If this is one big caveat, if your city hasn't burned your frickin' city down,
there you go. Okay, so parade by definition, the winning team is usually given a parade to their home city for bringing the national championship home to their city.
I'm not some trophy wife for you to winning team gets a parade to celebrate your win on the Super Bowl around in front of your clients and then be left lonely on this giant house.
Well done! All right, man. Good job. All right, you got one more to go perfect this week. You ready?
I'm ready. And Philly, I hope
All
you
right,
still
here
have
it
a city to
comes.
parade around.
Here it comes. I'm not some trophy wife for you to parade around in front of your clients and then be left lonely in this giant house.
Oh, my goodness. Giant.
Giant is correct! Well done! You're perfect this week!
Yes. Are we talking the New York Giants?
We are specifically talking the New York Giants with their head quarterback, Eli Manning.
Oh, nice. All right. I am not some trophy wife for you to parade around in front of your clients and then be left lonely in this New York football giant house.
Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, to finish off the Dirty Little Football Quiz, Pete went perfect this week. Congrats, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. You totally had me on on your method for this madness.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd try. I'd try one more last time. I'd put the last effort in, since I know your team lost at the very last second.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Since Pete went perfect this week at the Dirty Little Football Quiz, that means one of you is getting a free drink from us. All you have to do is say in your own erotic sentence that you're sorry that the Patriots lost and finish it with, I want a free drink. Be the first person to do that on our Facebook page, and we will send you a free drink. So don't forget, sorry the Patriots lost, and I want a free drink have to be included in your own erotic sentence. Be the first person to do that on our Facebook page, and we will send you a drink. Congrats, Pete.
Thank you.
Hey, it's time for Stories from the Road.
So I was actually on the road this week. I did 2 shows, one in Rhode Island, one in Vermont. Nothing special happened, 2 good shows. What do you got?
It's funny when it's the busy season and you're going out and you're constantly doing shows, and it's just, it's a job, right? You're punching the clock.
Yeah.
So you go in and it's like, I wish I could say every single time I'm on the road that something fun or amazing happens, but a lot of the times it's like, I got up, I brushed my teeth, I ironed my clothes, I went and I did a great show, I got some pictures with people afterwards, I ordered a pizza, I went back to my hotel, I watched Stranger Things on Netflix, then I went to bed. That's pretty much your day, right?
Yep, that's pretty much how it works.
All right, so I'm going to finish part 2 of my story. So I flew into Minnesota, and I went through all the hell of flying into Minnesota on Super Bowl weekend, where I flew in, and when my flight in there, I was flying in out of Austin at like 5 something in the morning, and when I was flying out of our connecting place, which I think was Charlotte, to Minnesota, the entire plane was Eagles fans, and what I would like to have been doing is sleeping since I got up at 3:30 in the morning. What I actually did was listen to people just chant "Go Eagles" for 2 hours on the airplane. So it was freaking awful.
Oh, I'm so glad I did not have that show.
Oh my God, yeah. Landed, went through all the pain that I told you guys about finding the hotel. I did, however, I landed, I drove directly from the airport. I drove the 30 miles to the hotel and checked into that Motel 6. This is a bonus teachable moment. I checked in because I wasn't going to be getting back to that hotel till around 11 or 12. And I knew in my heart of hearts that if I hadn't checked in by 11 or 12, that they would have sold my room, and then I would have been just completely SOL because there would be no place that I could have a room. So, bonus teachable moment, if you're in that situation ever, check into your rooms. Hotels and airplanes are totally shady about that, so check in as early as you can if you have the means to do so that you don't get totally screwed, because they'll just look you right in the face and be like, hey, I know you have a reservation, but man, we oversold this room, so sorry, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Then
so,
you go sleep on their lobby couch.
Yep. So I checked into my hotel, turned right around, didn't even bring any luggage. I just got my key, and then drove another, I would say 30 minutes to my show. But because it was sleeting and icing and the roads were completely covered in ice and snow, it took me about an hour to drive from my hotel to the venue that I was performing at. Performed, it was a late-night show, didn't get back after driving another hour at 40 miles an hour on scary streets back to the hotel. I got like a 2.5-hour nap. Woke up at 3:30 in the morning, got in my rental car, drove back to the airport to fly home. Not only did I drive back to the airport, but if you're in Minnesota, there's 2 airports. There's Humphreys Terminal 1 and Humphreys Terminal 2. I had flown in on one airlines that got me a rental car in Terminal 1, flying out on another airlines that was Terminal 2. Because it was Super Bowl Sunday, it was actually Super Bowl Sunday in Minnesota, and I was there. They shut down the trains for security reasons.
Damn.
So I couldn't drop off my car and take the train to Humphreys Terminal 1. They made me take my car and go over to Terminal 1, and then it was like about a 1/4-mile walk in 6-degree weather to get all of my luggage out and get to the flight. Anyway, whatever. I make it to my flight. I fly from there to Nashville, from Nashville back to Austin, and I touch down in Austin at about 11:30. Pause. My grandmother has gotten me Shannon, myself, my mom, and her season tickets to the opera. So we go to the opera 3 or 4 times a year with my grandmother. It's one of those things that she just loves being able to take us to. She likes the theater, the culture, and all that stuff. So it was opera day. Super Bowl Sunday was when a damn opera was happening. My mom is sick with the flu, and so Shannon stayed with Bryce, and so it was just my grandmother and I going to the opera, and I just couldn't tell my 91-year-old grandmother, hey, I'm sorry, Grandma, I can't take you to the opera, it's the Super Bowl. So I drove directly from the airport to my house, changed into opera-going clothes, went and picked up my grandmother. Some friends of mine in Austin, I asked them if they wanted to come to the opera with us since we had 2 extra tickets in our little reserved seats area, and they were like, cool. So met my friends at the opera, and we watched the opera from 2:30 till about 5:15. Then I drove and dropped my grandmother off. Then I came home, and Bryce had pulled out all of his Nerf guns and wanted to play Nerf guns. And I was like, screw it. Yeah, whatever. I got 2 hours of sleep, and the Super Bowl already started. I don't care. Let's do this. So played Nerf guns with Bryce, and then helped Shannon. She was working on some paperwork stuff. Helped her do that. And when all that was done, finally got to turn on the Super Bowl and watch the second half and kick it with a beer and have Shannon and Bryce there and watch the Super Bowl. So that was my Super Bowl Sunday. And I'll tell you what, dude, as soon as that show was over, I went straight to bed.
Do not pass go.
Do not pass go. Do not take shower.
You
just
are a good
pass
man.
out.
Taking your grandma to the opera on Super Bowl Sunday after getting off a plane. Holy cow.
Look,
we have St. Gus here on Monday Club. Holy.
Look, man, I'm just hoping that I can cash some of that in for something, because I'll screw it up somewhere else. But, yeah, just money in the bank right there.
That's great, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good. I feel like such a schmo.
Well, you know, when you're fortunate enough to have someone who's 91 around, it's like when she's like, "Hey, I'd really like to go to Dairy Queen." It's like, "Yeah, Grandma, let's go to Dairy Queen." I don't.
That's an easy yes.
I'll enjoy
for me.
the time that we have together. Yeah. So, Bryce, if you're listening, if Daddy reaches 91, you better take my ass out to Dairy Queen. Teachable moments.
I feel like this whole thing has been a teachable moment to this episode. We've had
this has been a great teachable moment.
Sprinklings
all
of
the way
knowledge
through.
everywhere. My teachable moment this week is write shit down. You forget things. You're not as smart as you think you are. At least I'm not. So I have to write things down. And and lately I have 3 things. I have a notebook that I write things in. Then I have my notes app on my phone, which when I'm out and about. And then I have like a doc that I write in as well. And here's my teachable moment to myself. Have just one place for all these ideas, because now I have to go through and like cull all the ideas and put them all in one place so I can actually know what all my ideas are. So I just bought like a little spiral bound I'm going old school notebook.
Oh, that's cool though. That's cool. Going Bill Hodges.
Yeah,
Bill Hodges.
Bill Hodges.
Yeah.
I'm going to use a pen, and I'm just going to carry this notebook in my backpack everywhere I go, and I have an idea. Boom, right into this piece of paper.
That's awesome. Yeah, when when I'm doing shows, I always get people's names at the show, like people who were on the programming board or the staff that was helping us out or the crew at the theater or whoever's helping out and the important names. I always write them down, and if I can remember, I write some kind of distinguishing feature about them, so I try to remember them at some random other later date. And it's all of these notes are just for me. Like I'll put weird lips or freckle face or just weird things that are anchors for me for who I'm identifying as their name. And it's been so fun ever since I've done that, and I just do it as a note on my phone, but ever since I've done that, I'll show up at schools and see people, and they'll be like, oh, you probably don't remember me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're Sarah from blah, blah, blah. And we talked about, are you still into wrestling? And blah, blah. And they'll be like, oh, my God, you're so awesome. You remember everything about me. Oh, hells to the no. No, I don't. I don't remember you from Adam, right? But I had looked at my notes before I got here, and
that's a way better.
That's how I remember.
That's a way better teachable moment than mine.
No, dude, I'm building on because yours is exactly right, man. That's a great teachable.
Have you ever made a mistake and be like, "Oh, hey, Freckleface"? I mean, Sarah.
No, but like, I mean, you could not pay me enough money to read some of my descriptive words about people because they're not always flattering, but they certainly are, or PC. But they certainly are ways that I when I see somebody, I'm like, ha ha, yeah, there's Crazy Nose or whatever.
Nice.
All right, man. So my teachable moment is this, and it relates to the Super Bowl. Dude, I cut the cord a long time ago from cable, and so all we have is our Apple TV running all of the entertainment that we have, and I freaking love it, man. I watched the Super Bowl for free. ABC did their was it ABC or NBC?
I think it was NBC.
NBC.
Was it?
NBC. Oh, yeah, I think that's right. NBC did their live coverage of the Super Bowl. There's a little tile on the.
You can watch the Super Bowl on Apple TV.
I watched it for free.
What?
I just clicked on the thing, and it said live TV, watch now, absolutely. And they showed all the commercials, and it was freaking great. So I didn't miss the Super Bowl. They have obviously there's Netflix and Hulu and Amazon TV and the History Channel, PBS, all of those things have tiles, and it's just great, man. We can watch whatever it is that we really want to watch. It's a different mindset, as in. It's not like you can just go to a channel and just be like, hey, let's just turn on the channel and have random TV playing in the background. But you know what? I never wanted to do that, so it's great. And the way that our house is set up, when we originally moved in, I was trying to have the cable company come out and hook up our internet. And there's an outlet that's right there by where I wanted the TV, and the guy came over there. He's like, "Oh yeah, dude, sorry, but this outlet doesn't work. In order for us to have cable run out of here, you're going to have another technician come out and do a drop, and it's going to cost you $50 to $100." And I realized I didn't need that. My Apple TV works off of Wi-Fi, so you just plug it in, and it's good to go without any cables or wires going into the house. It's been phenomenal. Man. So yeah, kudos to you, Apple TV.
That's awesome. I've been trying to cut the cord now because I hate my cable company. There's something that just makes me hate you if you're a monopoly, and then you just randomly put up my prices and don't give me more for it. Literally, I looked at my bill this month, and it was $12 more than it normally is, and they just decided to raise their rates. And I call them like, you can't raise my rates. I didn't agree to this. And they're like, oh, we sent a notice in your bill. I'm like, I don't get a bill. I'm paperless. Like, I don't look at any of that. What? You can't just raise your rates. Oh, my God. I hate them so much. I hate my cable company so much. I just want to throw rocks at them.
Here's a quintuple teachable moment for you. Every 6 months, I bend over the barrel and I just bite the bullet and I call my cable provider and I say, hey, it's time for me to cancel my service with you guys. And they say, oh, no, why? And I say, oh, because your rates are too expensive. And they say, oh, well, we'd like to keep you as a customer. Hang on. And they transfer me to somebody else. And they talk to that somebody else. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to cancel my service. And they're like, oh, no, what can we do to keep you as a customer? I was like, well, I'm paying too much money. And they click on their keyboard and they're like, how about you pay $30 less? I was like, yeah, that would keep me. And they say, great, that's what you're on now. And I'm like, wonderful. And then that special rate plan expires every 6 months. And every 6 months I got to call in and just be like, hey, I'm going to cancel my service now. And they're like, oh,
Dude,
no.
I used to do
and
that.
So,
And then Spectrum bought Time Warner Cable. So Spectrum, they're hard asses. They don't do any of that shit anymore. They're like, oh, okay, we're sorry to see you go. Bye.
oh, well, dude, I've not had that experience. Because I have Spectrum for my cable as well, and they've always done the dance for me. The secret is that you have to actually mean it. Because if they were like, yeah, okay, we hate to see you go as a customer, I'm like, all right, bye. And then call AT&T and be like, AT&T, hook it up, and they will for an introductory.
Do you know
price
why
of
though?
something ridiculously
because
cheap.
you have other options. They know they could lose you to another company. There's zero options here. They know I'm not. They know I'm bluffing. They're the only people that can give me broadband. They're the only people that can give me cable. I mean, I could go direct TV, but then I got a friggin' satellite and all that shit hooked up.
You poor bastard.
So
yeah. All right. So yeah,
they have a monopoly.
Move to a place that you have options, and then make that phone call. It'll make it so much easier.
Well, ending on that joyful note. I hope everyone has a fantastic Monday, and go Patriots. Super Bowl next year. Thank you guys so much for being part of the club. We love you all. Please check us out, MondayClubPodcast.com, Facebook.com/Monday Club Podcast, Twitter @MondayClubPod, Instagram @MondayClubPodcast, email MondayClubPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much to James Caldwell, our sound engineer, and Zach Holder for this lovely music. Go out and be awesome this Monday.
And don't pancake face yourself.